Immune to the rapidly rising cost of living in South Africa. Aspiring athletes often have to give up on their talents, let alone their goals and dreams. Cycling continues to grow in popularity, but so does the cost of a bicycle as well as the gear. The Velokhaya Life Cycling Academy has been a beacon of hope for many boys in Khayelitsha. Let's find out more from Justin Ford. A very good afternoon, Mr. Ford. Always great to be chatting to you. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, good afternoon, Arthur. Always good chatting to you as well. Trying times, I think, in many want to say a post-COVID life, when in actual fact the pandemic is still within the realms. And as you mentioned, the Velokhaya Life Cycling Academy have been able to endure throughout that. The likes of Nicholas Glamini, Songezo Jim, Lutando Kaka, all, have applied their trade here and have gone on to bigger and better things, and this is the hope that they continue or would wish to continue out here at Velokhaya in Khayelitsha, a community that is rife with gangsterism, drugs, all types of social ills. And the academy themselves have been able to stay afloat and keep the doors open, and I get to speak to Sipho Mona, the general manager. Sipho, just in a COVID environment, an organization like you guys rely on funding. There's more than just cycling for these kids. You are able to feed them, so there's costs involved with that. You've got a computer lab that you also assist them with homework and education. How difficult is the rising costs in South Africa at the moment for an organization like yourselves?
Thank you very much, Justin. To be honest with you, it has been a bit difficult for us, and more so though for the members and their families, because it has not only affected them but also their families. But we try our best to make sure that we meet them halfway with regards to what we can do and offer at Velokhaya. As you have mentioned, it's not about the bicycle. It's much more of a holistic approach that we do, where we take care of their nutrition, obviously, and their academics, and obviously then using the sport as a byproduct of that. But it has been difficult. But we're very lucky, though, to have such committed sponsors like Pick n Pay and Xfinity who are still part of the program and actually see the impact that we have on the communities.
You talk about the fact that you guys have been lucky enough to continue to have support. Some organizations don't have support of that nature. Is there plans afoot to try and assist? I know you have mentioned that you have in the past. Is that the community that you guys are trying to build, whereby the haves that you have are able to supply those that don't potentially have?
No, in a sense, we did do that when COVID started. Obviously, we then distributed food parcels with the partnership with Pick n Pay, where we distributed around the Western Cape. So what we're currently doing now is trying to make sure that we focus on the kids that we have at the present moment, because the issue is that almost each and every one of these kids actually have a bit of an issue at home, if I can call it that, whereby we're trying to look at it holistically, because as you might know, the average of unemployment in the country as a whole has just risen, and what we now doing is that's trying to make sure that we take care of the kids so that they also will be able to take care of their families at the end of the day.
Talking about that home environment, in short, what are the types of stories that you guys are getting to hear from them when they come from school directly to the academy to get fed firstly and further their education? But what are some of the sort of key concerns that are coming out from these particular areas?
It's quite crazy that some of it was actually missed. As I'd mentioned before, is we were trying to take care of the kids. They were not going to school. COVID was just at its highest level, and we wanted to feed the kids. But what we didn't realize, only realized it after rather, is that the parents had lost their jobs, and we were feeding the kids, and they were going home with full tummies. Meanwhile, mom and dad were actually suffering. So we then obviously just changed our momentum and then shifted it to the household itself, where we then distributed food parcels back in the day. So what is happening now, as you had mentioned as well, is that it's almost post-COVID, but it isn't really post-COVID. We're still there, but it almost like has been a lot less relentless as it was before. But we are doing our best to make sure that we do take care of the holistic approach and the family rather than the member itself.
Sipho, thank you very much for your time, Arthur. Well, there we go. Just the academy over here in Khayelitsha trying their level best, firstly to give these young boys and girls an outlet by terms of cycling, whether it be road cycling, BMX or mountain biking, getting to ensure that they get fed in the afternoons and just education as well, where, as mentioned, the computer lab. But again, showing and highlighting the struggles of these communities as costs continue to rise, whereby, the livelihoods of the parents have been affected, and ultimately sometimes these kids as well in these communities. Arthur?
Thank you very much. Justin Ford out in Cape Town just joining us to look at the impact of rising costs in sports. Well,